Okay, so here we are in Adobe Photoshop and now we have this Google logo. You can easily get this logo from Google itself, obviously. And now we want each and every alphabet on different layers. So first of all, I'm going to select my rectangle selection tool, and then I'm going to select this G over here, or you can select like that. Then all you need to do is press Ctrl X to cut it out, create a new layer and press Ctrl Shift V to paste in place. Double click on this layer and let's call it as G, and let's hide this. Then we will select this O as well. We will hit Ctrl X to cut it out, create a new layer and press Ctrl Shift V to paste in place. Similarly, I'm going to select this O. We will hit Ctrl X to cut it out, create a new layer and press Ctrl Shift V to paste in place. Double click and let's call it as O. Okay, similarly select this and let's call it as O. Okay, along with that we will select this G as well. We will hit Ctrl X to cut it out, create a new layer and press Ctrl Shift V to paste in place. Double click and we will call it as G. Similarly select this L, hit Ctrl X to cut it out, create a new layer and press Ctrl Shift V to paste in place. Double click and let's call it as L. Then we have this E. Let's type E only. So now as you guys can see, our each and every alphabet is on different layers. Now we are free to animate this file. So we'll go to the Adobe After Effects. We will create a new composition and we are going to call it as main animation. Width I'm going to choose 1920, height 180, frame rate is 30, duration is 30 seconds long, and background color we are going to choose white color. Simply hit OK and hit OK. Then we'll go to choose grid and guide option and we will simply hit on title selection. Then I'm going to press Ctrl I to import my logo file. I'll select this logo and I'll choose import footage, composition, return layers and sizes, and I'll simply hit import and hit OK. Then we will bring this composition over here. Now let's go inside this, and as you guys can see, if you hit Ctrl K over here, you will get this project settings. Over here name we will choose logo, but width I'm going to choose 1920 and height I'm going to choose 180. So we will get something like this. Then we will right click, new, and create one null object. Select all of them by hitting Ctrl A and make them parent with this null one. Then select this null one, press S for scaling option and let's scale the size, and let's delete this null object. We don't need that anymore. Then select all of them and try to bring them properly at the center like this. Over here you can adjust according to your needs. Okay, after that select all of them, press P for position, select those positions by holding shift, and we are going to right click and choose separate dimensions. We will create one keyframe at X and one keyframe at Y. Along with that we will press S for scaling option. Again we will create one keyframe. Then we will press R for rotation and we will create another keyframe, and hit U for revealing the keyframes. I'm gonna go somewhere around 20 frames. Again I'm going to create keyframe on each and every layer. Okay, and I'm going to select these two layers over here, not two but these three. I'm going to type let's go to the rotations and we need to make one complete rotation. So let's type +1 over there. So if you see, we are getting something like that. And then for this remaining ones, I'm gonna go over here and I'm going to type over here type -1. Okay, so you will get a different directional rotation. Then at the start I'm going to select all of them. I'll go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. So select all of them and then go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Then go to around 10 frames and change the Y position of this to somewhere around over here. Then go to around 1 second and we will create one keyframe at Y position, and in middle of that we will bring this over here like that. Then go to the start and let's make this scale 0. So we will get something like this over here. Then in search option type Y, so we can see only Y position keyframes. We will select those Y position keyframes and we are going to hit F9 to ease those keyframes. Zoom in. Let's go to the graph editor, right click and make sure that you are in edit speed graph. Select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here, select this, move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here. So if you see, we will get something like that. Same procedure, select this graph, shift hold, move this handle over here, and shift hold, move this handle over here, like that. Okay, zoom in a little bit. Similarly, select this, shift hold, move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here, like that. Okay, I think at this point it's going too much upward, so let's bring the position a little bit downward, like that. Okay, so if you see this now, we will get something like that. And now we need this animation one by one, so hit page down button 2 times, select this O with the help of open square bracket, move this over here again 2 times, 2 times, 2 times, 2 times, and we will get something like that. Okay, we will, so our bouncing animation is ready. Let's select all of this and press F4 and enable the motion blur. Okay, so this is going to be our logo animation. Now we need to create animation which is gonna play at the start. So if you see this now, our main animation is ready of this logo. So let's hide this for now, and now we will start with our main animation which is gonna come at the start. So for that, first of all, I'm going to select my ellipse, and let's delete this stroke, we don't need that. And by holding shift, I'm going to create one ellipse. Let's select this and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the Align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Now press P for position, create one keyframe. Initially, let's move this out of this comp, then zoom in. Let's go to around 1 second. Let's move this or you can bring the position somewhere around over here, and you can try to bring this over here, like that. So we will get if you hit play, we will get something like this. Then go somewhere around 2 or somewhere around over here, select this and move this over here. But if you do that, you will get this kind of stuff, so you will we will fix that later. And after this, I'm gonna go somewhere around over here, and I'll bring this point at this point over here, like that. Or you can go to the Align tab and choose Align vertically. Okay, so if you see this now, first we'll get this and then we'll get this. Now let's select those keyframe, and we are going to hit F9. Go to the graph editor, right click and make sure that you are in edit speed graph, zoom in a little bit, then select this portion. By holding shift, move this handle over here, like that. Then after that, at this point, let's select this. By holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here, like that. So if you see, we will get something like that. Then at this point, let's select this again. By holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. So now if you see this animation, first we will get this and then we will get this. Okay, now let's go and hit one page down button 1 time to go 1 frame forward, and we will create one keyframe at position, like that. Then we'll go somewhere around 20 frames and we will move this from here to here, like that. So okay, now let's go over here and I'm going to select my pen tool. I'll create one point over here, then hit K to go 1 frame, to go to the next keyframe, and then from here to here I'm going to create one stroke. Okay, or you can hold shift as well to create a proper line stroke. Sorry. Then let's delete this fill, we don't need that fill, and we will choose color, and just for now I'm going to select my red color, and stroke width I'm going to choose 2 pixels. Let's select this and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Then go at this point, and with the help of open square bracket, I'm gonna move this point over here. Then go to the add menu, and we are going to choose trim path. Go to the trim path and let's make this end value 0 initially. Create one keyframe, go over here and let's make this value 100. Select those keyframe and we are going to hit F9. Now hit U and let's move this a little bit over here. Let's select this portion including this keyframe and go to the graph editor, and let's hit F9 to easy ease those keyframe. Let's select this portion. By holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. so we will get that it's drawing a one line. Okay, now after that I want this one should get around at this point in a rotational format. So for that I'll go somewhere around at this point. I'll right click new and I'm going to create one null object, and I'll move this null object over here, hit enter, and let's call it as controller. And this shape layer, not share this but this, let's bring this at the top and make it a parent with this controller. But before that we will select this controller and we will make sure that this controller is somewhere around at this point at the center, and then select this shape layer and make it a parent with this controller. Now let's select this shape layer, hit enter, and let's call it as fair. Select this, hit enter, and let's call it as line. Okay, now let's select this controller, controller, press R for rotation, create one keyframe. Similarly select this pair and create one keyframe at per position. Then go somewhere around over here and let's make this 180-degree rotation like that. Similarly select this pair and let's move this position somewhere around over here like that. Also this position somewhere around over here. Now let's select those keyframe and we are going to hit F9. Then go to the graph editor and select this graph, and by holding shift move this handle over here and select this and move this handle over here like that. So if you see, we will get something like this. Okay, now at this point when this is coming over here, let's select this and we will press Ctrl Shift D to split this layer. We will bring this layer at the top and we are going to delete this parenting, we don't need that. Then we will hit U and we are going to delete all those keyframes because we don't need that. Okay, like that. So, and let's select this pair and now press P for position, create one keyframe, zoom in. Let's go somewhere around 5 seconds and let's make this fit and let's bring this downwards like that. So okay, so we'll get something like that. Then select this and hit F9. Then go to the graph editor, select this graph, by holding shift move this handle over here and move this handle over here, so it will look like it's bouncing. Then at this point somewhere around over here again I'm gonna go somewhere around at 6 seconds. I'll move this somewhere around over here again. So if you see, we'll get something like that. Then go to the graph editor, select this and move this handle over here and move this handle over here. So if you see, we will get something like that. Okay, but it looks weird. So what you can do, let's select this last keyframe and we are going to hit F9. Select this graph, by holding shift move this handle over here and move this handle over here like that. Okay, so if you see, we will get something like this. Okay, then go somewhere around over here again, try to bring this downwards, go to the graph, and when it's gonna come downward it should go somewhere around like this. Okay, let's move this handle again over here like that, and then somewhere around at this point it should again go somewhere up to this. Then go to the graph and again it should come over here, and at this point again move this graph like this. So if you see this now, we will get something like this. Okay, and now same thing we need to do for our strokes. So let's select this stroke, which is our line, press P or let's G for our pen tool, zoom in and let's create one key point at the stroke so you can easily manipulate the stroke. Okay, like that. Then at this point somewhere around over here, let's go inside this contents, go to the shape and path, and we will create one keyframe at path. Then at this point over here I'm going to select and create another keyframe at path. Let's select this selection, select this, and by holding shift I'm going to bring this over here. then go over here at this point. Let's bring this downwards like this. Then somewhere around at this point, let's go somewhere around over here. Create again one keyframe at path. Then go at this point. Let's create another keyframe. Select this and let's move this over here like this. Okay. Then at this point, this path, select this and by holding shift move this handle over here, and let's move this up to this at last keyframe like that. Okay, and now along with this I'm going to select this keyframe and I'm going to hit F9 to easy ease those keyframe. So now let's go to the graph editor. Now at this point it's gonna come over here like that, then it's gonna go down, then again at this point it should go a little bit faster. So let's select this, by holding shift move this handle over here and move this handle over here, so we will get something like this. Then at this point it should come a little bit slow, so let's select this, by holding shift move this handle over here like that. Okay, and then let's select this ball. Let's go to the graph editor, let's select this graph again, and at this point if you see where it's gonna come very slow, so we don't want it should come slow, it should come over here very faster. So let's select this and let's move this handle over here and move this handle over here like that. Okay, so it should come at this point very faster like that, and let's move this handle over here like this. Okay, so at this point it's gonna get breaked. Okay, so now if you see this animation, it's come like this, like this. Okay, and now along with this there should be some another animations as well, so let's try to do that. I'm gonna select this stroke, I mean this line, and let's make this stroke width to around 6 centimeter, not centimeter but pixels. Let's make this 10. In search option let's type cap and choose round cap. Okay, so we will get something like this. Now I'm going to select this line cap and I'm gonna go in add menu. I'm going to choose round corners, go to the round corners and increase this round corners to somewhere around 60. Okay, like that. So now if you see this in quarter resolution, you can preview this in quarter resolution like that. We will get something like this. Okay, now let's hit U, select this ball which is over here, and let's move this handle over here like that. Okay, now let's select the position keyframes of this pair over here. Right click, go to the keyframe interpolation. Instead of auto bezier, make sure to choose linear and hit OK. Similarly over here as well, select this, right click, keyframe interpolation. Instead of auto bezier, choose linear. Okay, like that. Okay, over here at this point this animation is ending. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm going to select this line and let's enable this logo for now. I'm going to select this line. I'll go to the stroke options and with the help of this picker I'm going to pick up this color, then select this pair and hit OK. Select this pair, go to the fill option, select this picker and pick up this blue color and hit OK. Similarly select this pair, go to the fill, picker and pick up this blue color and hit OK like that and hit U. Okay, let's hide this logo for now. So now if you see, we will get something like this over here. Now let's select this sphere, hit U, and when this sphere is gonna come over here, let's try to bring this upward like that, or somewhere around like downwards like this. Okay, so it should go a little bit downward, and then it creates this shape and this, and then this. Okay, like that. Now I'm going to select this line and let's make this line 30, or let's make this 15. Then select this line again and hit Ctrl D, and with the help of arrow keys you can bring this line over here. Okay, let's select this line, go to the stroke, select this picker and select this yellow color and hit OK. Select this line, hit Ctrl D and select this line, bring this downwards, and with the help of this picker select this green color like that, and let's hide this for now. Okay, so if you see this now, we will get something like this, this. Okay, like that. Now I'm going to select this line structures, and if you want you can choose 5 pixels line or even 2 pixels lines. Our main motto is to show those colors, so the width doesn't matter. You can choose 41 or not 41, it looks weird. You can choose 10 as well, it depends upon you. I'm going to go with the 15 like that. Now I'm going to select this line compositions. I'll press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose, and I'm going to call it as lines only, and hit OK and hold Alt close square bracket to like this. Then at this point somewhere around over here, let's select this, go to the effect and presets panel and search for wave warp effect and double click to apply, and let's increase the wave width to somewhere around like this, and wave height initially let's make this 0, and let's create one keyframe. Hit U, hit page downwards a little bit, and let's increase the wave height to somewhere around 20 like that. Then go few frames forward and let's make this height 0 again. So if you see this, we will get this kind of structure. Then somewhere around at this point again I'm going to create one keyframe at wave height, hit page down button, and let's make this value 20 again like that. So okay, then at this point I'm going to create one keyframe, hit page and go somewhere around at this point, and let's make this value 0 again like that. So if you see this now, we will get this and then we will get this. Okay, so if you see this animation from the start, we will get this. Let's make this quad resolution so we can see it clearly. Okay, and then at this point where my animation is ending, at this I'm going to select all of this and I'll press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose, and I'm going to call it as animation. Then at this point I'll press Ctrl Shift D to split this layer, and I'm going to right click, time, freeze frame, go to the effect and presets panel and search for pixel poly effect and double click to apply, and then in zoom out, and let's decrease, move this animation up to this, and with the help of open square bracket I'll bring this over here, and now if I hit spacebar I'll get this kind of breaking animation, but it should be more interesting. So let's decrease the grid spacing and increase the force to around 300 like that. Gravity choose 9.8 like that, 0.98 something like this. So we will get something like this. Okay, and at this point when this is breaking, we will enable our logo and open square bracket and bring this over here like that. So now if you see this, we will get this, we will get this, and then this. Now we will go inside this, we will select this pair and select both of this pair, or first let's start with this one. Hit Ctrl D, select this pair, press S and let's increase the size, press T for opacity and let's make this opacity 30. Similarly select this pair, hit Ctrl D, press select the second one, press S copy this same scale to 1.7 and T for opacity also 30, like that. Okay, like this. So if you see this now, we'll get this kind of structure, and then this and then this. Okay, so if you see this now, we'll get this kind of animation over here, like that. Okay, so and if you want for example, if you don't like this three line structure, you can go with the one line as well. All you need to do is simply hide those, select this specifically the middle one line, you if you're okay with it. Okay, and you can create something like this as well. I think for me this looks quite nice and elegant as well. Okay, so if you want to go with this, you can go with this as well, and your logo animation is ready. And press N, press Ctrl Y to create one solid background and bring this downwards.
Here we are in Adobe Photoshop and I have this Nickelodeon logo. Now I want each and every stuff on properly on different layers. So I'm going to select my rectangle selection tool and I'm going to select this N over here. I'll hit Ctrl X to cut it out and I'll create a new layer and I'm going to press Ctrl Shift V to paste in place. And I'm going to hide this. Now same procedure I'm going to do for this eye. I'll hit Ctrl X, new layer, Ctrl Shift V to paste in place and let's hide this. Now let's select this C, hit Ctrl X, create a new layer and press Ctrl Shift V and to paste in place and hide this. Now I'm going to follow this procedure for all of them. So let's skip this portion. Okay, so I did that procedure. Now as you guys can see, each and everyone is properly on different layers and I'm going to save this as a Photoshop document. Now let's go to the Adobe After Effects and let's create a new composition. I'm going to call it as main logo animation. Width I'm going to choose 1920, height I'm going to choose 180, frame rate should be 30 second and duration I'm going to choose around 2 second or let's say 1 minute long, and background color is white color and simply hit OK. Then go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on titles affection like that over here. Now I'm going to press Ctrl I to import my Photoshop file. I'll select my Photoshop file, import as instead of footage. I'm going to choose composition, return relation sizes, and simply hit import and hit OK. Then double click on this. So I'm going to select all of these layers and I'll hit Ctrl C to copy. I'll go to the main animation and I'll hit Ctrl V. Now as you guys can see, the size of this animation is too much. So simply right click new and create one null object. I'm going to select all of them and I'll make it a parent with this null. I'll select this null, I'll press S and let's decrease the scale of this. Press P for position and let's try to bring this position of this to somewhere around over here like that. Then I'm going to delete this null object. Then we have this N over here. I'm going to hit Ctrl D and I'll change the color of this topmost layer to yellow. Okay. And I'm going to select all of this and let's hide these layers as well as log this layer. Now let's select this and over here, hit enter and let's follow it as N. I'm not going to name other layers, just to this one, and go to the align tab and we are going to choose align horizontally. Okay. Now after that, I'm going to select my ellipse tool and this time I'm going to delete this fill. I don't need that. And I'll go to the stroke. I'll click on the stroke and with the help of this picker, I'm going to pick up this color and hit OK. And stroke width, I'm going to choose 100. And by holding shift, I'll create one circle. Now select this and press Ctrl Alt O. Go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Go to the ellipse path, and let's increase the scale of this totally like that. Then create one keyframe, then go somewhere around 1.20 and let's make this value 200 or somewhere around like that. Okay. Now I'm going to select this and I'll hit not control but hit F9 to easy those keyframes. So I'll get something like that. Now let's select this, go to the graph editor, select this graph, and by holding shift move this handle over here and move this handle over here. Okay, like that. Now let's select this and let's move this to somewhere around 1 second. So we'll get this animation a little bit faster. Now let's select this N and bring this at the top and go to the effect and presets panel and search for fill effect and choose white color. Okay. So if you check it out this now, we are gonna get something like that. Now let's select this and hit Control A to duplicate it. Hit U, go to around 1 second, and this time I'm going to delete those sizes and stroke width. I'm going to choose 2 pixels and let's increase the scale of this. Okay, and again select this shape layer and increase the scale of this totally like that. And let's make this stroke width around 1 pixels. Then again, I'm going to select this. I'll hit Control D, press S this time, and let's decrease the scale. And this time, I'm going to delete the stroke and go to the fill option. And with the help of this picker, I'm going to pick up this color. Otherwise, you can select these other strokes and simply copy that color code and select this. And in this one, I'm going to attach fill, press T for opacity, and let's make this opacity 20. Okay, so we are gonna get something like that. So what I'm gonna do when these things are gonna come up over here, I'm going to select all the other 3 layers, which means this opacity less sphere, not sphere but circle. Other than that, with this circle and the circle, I'm going to select all of this over here, and with the help of open square bracket move them over here like that. Or let's select, we need to select this one and let's bring them over here. Press S and create one keyframe initially. Go few frame forward, create another keyframe, and in the start let's make their values to 0. Then select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph, select this graph, and by holding shift move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here. So if you check it out this, we'll get something like that. So we got this and got this. Then somewhere around at this point, I want these things to get animated. So I'm going to move them over here and I'll take a gap of few frames over here like that. Okay, like that. And then somewhere around at this point, I'm going to select those. I will create one keyframe on scale each. Then I'll go to around 3 seconds and let's increase the values of this. Then go to the start again. I mean, not at the start, but over here and press T for opacity to create one keyframe. Then hit U, go to around 3 seconds and let's make this opacity 0. Then I'm going to select those keyframes and I'll hit F9. I'll go to the graph editor. I'll select this graph and by holding shift, I'm going to move this handle over here. So we will get something like that. So we got this and then we got this. Okay. Now this N over here, this N should also needs to get animated. So for that, what I'm going to do somewhere around at this point, 20 frames, I'm going to bring this over here. I'll press P for position to create one keyframe, then T for opacity to create another keyframe, hit U and let's go somewhere around 1.20 frames, create each keyframe. Then go to the start and let's bring this downwards and let's make this value 0. Then select those keyframe and hit F9. Go to the graph, select this graph and by holding shift move this handle over here. So we will get something like that. Then after this, we need to create another animation out of it. So let's enable this topmost layer, which is this one. I mean this N over here. And I want this thing should go from here to here. Okay, so for that, I'm going to right click new and I'll create one null object. And this null object, I try to bring them at the center of these two objects over here, like that. Okay, hit enter and let's follow it as controller like that. Then I'm going to select this N. Then we need this here as well. Let's bring this at the top. Then select this N and this shape and let's make it apparent with this controller. Okay. Then somewhere around at this back, when then entire stuff is over here, we can now focus on this one. But before that, what we need to do over here is that we need to create one tail out of this pair over here as well. So to do that, what I'm gonna do, somewhere around at this point over here, I'm going to hit Control Shift D to speed this layer, hit U, and let's delete those keyframes. Then after that, I'm going to select this, and let's just for now, let's remove this parenting. Also for this one, let's remove this parenting, and I'm going to select this shape layer over here, and we need to, you know, move this from here to here. So let's change the color of this one to yellow. Okay, just for our understanding, and then make it apparent with this controller. Now I'm going to select this controller. I'll press R for rotation to create one keyframe. Then I'm gonna go somewhere around at this point. So let's make this completely rotate like that. So let's make this 180-degree and select those keyframe and hit F9. Okay, so we got this. Then we got this. Then select this and go to the graph editor. Select this and let's move this handle over here, and let's move this handle over here. Okay, we got this and we got this. If you want, then you can move this a little bit over here so it will be a little bit faster. Okay, like that. Then somewhere around at this point over here, I want, the other things should start to get animated. So I'm going to select this N as well as this, and by holding Alt, close square bracket, I'll trim them like that. Then I'm going to select this N over here, and I'll press R for rotation to create one keyframe. Let's go somewhere around over here, and let's make this rotation 2, plus in this, let's make this 180-degree rotation. So what will happen along with this, we will get this, um, rotating animation as well. Then somewhere around at this point, I'm going to enable all the other layers, including this N, and let's try to bring them at the top. Okay. And with the help of open square bracket, I'm going to move them over here like that. Select those layers, press P for position to create one keyframe, and right click and choose separate dimensions. Then go to around, few frame forward to create another keyframes. Again, go few frame forward to create another keyframes. And in the middle of this point over here, let's bring the Y position upward of each and every one. Okay. Similarly, let's select those last keyframe and try to bring this a little bit over here. Then in the middle, select all of these layers and change the Y position of them somewhere over here like that. Okay. Then go at the start, and I'm going to select my align tab and go to the align tab and choose align horizontally, and let's change the Y position of this one to somewhere around over here like that. Okay. Now in search option, I'm going to type Y only, so it will show us Y position keyframes. Let's select those Y position keyframes, and we will hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here, zoom in, select this and move this handle over here. Go few frame forward, select this and move this handle over here, move this handle over here, move move this handle over here, and move this handle over here. Okay. So if we check it out this now, we will get something like that. But along with that, I'm going to press R for rotation to create one keyframe, hit U, and let's go somewhere around over here, and let's win this one complete rotation. So we will get something like that. So now if we check it out this, we got this, and then we got this. But this animation should be one by one. So I'll hit page down button, and with the help of open square bracket, I'll move this over here. I'll select this, move this over here, hit page down button, move this like that. Okay. So what will happen? That they are going to animate one by one. Okay. And there is going to be a difference between the animation like that. So now if you check it out this, you'll get something like that. Okay. So this is the one way to do this. Now after this animation, if you see, it looks like it's taking a little bit time. Okay. So now instead of that, what you can do, you can simply go at this point. Let's select all of them, and with the help of open square bracket, I'm going to move them over here again. Okay. Now what I can do, I can select this keyframes, and by holding Alt, I can increase the duration. So what will happen? This will animate a little bit later. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do, let's do this from the end. Okay, because I want L1 should start earlier. Then I'm going to select this, and by holding Alt, I'll increase the duration. Then select those keyframes, and by holding Alt, let's increase the duration. Select this by holding Alt. Let's increase the duration like that. I'm holding Alt and I'll try to reduce the duration of it. So basically, all of them are gonna get animated at one point only, but there is going to be a gap. Okay, like that. So if you check it out this now, we got this, then we got this. Okay. Then hit U. Now select all of them and enable motion blur for each and every one. So what will happen? That there is going to be a little bit of realismness in our animation. I mean, not realismness, sorry, it's realism. Okay, because in real life, when we see any object, we don't see it clearly. We get some motion blur like that. Okay. And if you want, you can select the shape layer over here. And when this is somewhere around at the end, you can press S, you can create one keyframe. And at this point, you can try to reduce the size of this. Okay. Somewhere around at this point, you can try to reduce the size of this. So, it will look like it's merging between them. Okay. Like that. Also, you can select this and try to bring this a little bit over here. Okay. So there is going to be a proper transition. Okay. So now if you check it out, this animation, you will go something like that. Okay. Then hit U to minimize it. Hit Control Y to create one solid background. And let's try to bring this downwards. And I'll go to around 6 seconds and I'll hit N over here. I can hit Control K to open the project settings, and I'm going to make this 60 frames per second. So what will happen that your animation is going to get a little bit smoother. Okay, like that. As you guys can see, our animation is now something like this. So yep, this is how you can create this kind of a logo reveal animation.
So here we are in Adobe Photoshop, and now I have this Adidas logo which I got this from Google. Now I have already imported this logo in 1920 by 180 document in RGB mode. Now let's select this and hit Ctrl T for scaling and transform options, and let's decrease the size of this, and let's try to adjust this properly at the center, and let's deselect it. Okay, and hit Ctrl S to save this file. Now let's select this, right click, and we are going to convert this to rasterized layer. Let's zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to select my rectangle selection tool, and I'm going to select this much portion over here. Okay, and let's hit Ctrl X to cut it out, but as you guys can see, this portion are not selected, so hit Ctrl D again, and let's select this selection properly again like this, and hit Ctrl X. Now create a new layer and press Ctrl Shift V, and let's hide this form portions just for now. And as you guys can see, these things are not needed, so let's select this properly and delete it. hit Ctrl D, select this and delete and hit Ctrl D. So we have this 3 lines. Now out of which I am going to press L for lasso tool, and I'll select this much area like this and hit Ctrl X to cut it out, create a new layer, Ctrl Shift V, double click, and let's call it as 1. Same procedure I am going to follow for these lines as well. Let's select this, hit Ctrl X, new layer, Ctrl Shift V to paste in place, double click, and let's call it as 2, and this is going to be 3. Okay, and let's hide this. Now we have this alphabets, and for that I am going to select my rectangle selection. Shortcut key is M. Let's select this and hit Ctrl X to cut it out, new layer, Ctrl Shift V, double click, and let's call it as A. Select this, hit Ctrl X to cut it out, new layer, Ctrl Shift V, double click, and let's call it as D. Select this and hit Ctrl X to cut it out, new layer, Ctrl Shift V, double click, and let's call it as I. Same procedure for this. Okay, so now each and every alphabet is properly on different layer. Now we will animate this in After Effects. So I'm going to create a new project, and let's create a new composition, and I'm going to call it as main animation. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate is 30, duration is 1 minute long, and background color is white, and simply hit OK. We'll go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title selection. I'll press Ctrl I to import my Photoshop file, and I'll select my Photoshop file, import as footage. I'm going to choose composition, return layers and sizes, and simply hit import and hit OK. And let's bring this logo over here, and let's double click to open this, and let's lock this background layer. And I don't need to focus on this text just for now, so I'll hide this and I'll lock this layers as well. Now our main focus is on this portions only, so let's try to focus it. Okay, so let's select this one layer, and I'm going to hit Ctrl D, select this and press F4, and we are going to choose alpha mask. Similarly, select this too, hit Ctrl D, select this and choose alpha mask. Similarly, select this, hit Ctrl D, select this 3 and choose alpha mask. Select this 3, 2 and 1 and press P for position, create one keyframe, zoom in, and let's go to around 20 frame and create another keyframe and go to the start. Let's select this layer, and initially it should go on out of this portion like that. Similarly, select this portion and it should go out of this portion. Select this and it should go out of this portion. Now select those keyframe and we will hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here, so you will get something like this. Okay, and press F4 and enable the motion blur like this. Okay, now after that let's save this file. Okay, now after that I'm going to select my rectangle tool, and by holding shift I'm going to create this kind of rectangle. Press Ctrl Alt Home, go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically like this, so. And let's hide this for now. Then after that, right click, new, and create one null object. Press Ctrl Alt Home again and align this to the center. Then select this shape layer and select your pen behind tool, and by holding Ctrl adjust this anchor point at the bottom. Select this shape layer and make it apparent with this null. Now select this null, press V for selection tool, and let's bring this at the bottom like this. Select this, press P, select those positions, right click and choose separate dimensions. Now create one keyframe at X, go to around 20 frame, create, or let's say 1 second, and create another keyframe. Go to the start and let's bring this X position to somewhere around over here. At 1 second, I'm going to bring this portion to somewhere around over here. Let's go to around 20 seconds and create another keyframe at X. And at 1 second, hit page down button one time to go 1 frame forward and create another keyframe, and create one keyframe at Y. And at 2 seconds, let's move this portion somewhere around over here like this. And in middle of this, let's change the Y position to somewhere around over here and select those Y position keyframes, and we will hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here, this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here like that, so. Okay, similarly, along with that there should be rotation, so press R, create one keyframe, hit U, go over here, and we have to rotate it like this. So let's rotate it somewhere around like this. So okay, and let's try to move this somewhere around over here like this. Okay, so if you see this now, we will get something like this. Okay, then select this rotation keyframes and we are going to hit F9. Go to the graph, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here like this. So, or if you don't want that and if you keep it as it is, then that is also okay. This looks most nicer. So now I'm going to select this and this keyframe of position X and I'm going to hit F9 on it. Go to the graph, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here like this. Okay, let's select this, press S at this point. Let's unlink this and let's make this 20 like this. Create one keyframe, go over here and let's make this 100 like that. So okay, and select those keyframe and we will hit F9. Okay, like that. Now select these two layers and hit Ctrl D to duplicate it and bring this at the top, and select this null object and zoom in and let's try to bring this over here at this point. Select these two layers again, hit Ctrl D, bring this over here, select this null object and let's try to bring this over here like this. So okay, so if you see this now, we are getting these three objects and they are coming like this. Okay, and let's select this null object, hit U. At this point, as you guys can see, this is more than that. So what we can do is that let's select this shape layer like this, or you can select this null object and try to adjust the position properly like here only, like this. Okay, and now this thing should be one by one. So I'm going to take a distance of 10 frames, or let's try to take a distance of 5 frames first and let's see what is happening over here. First I'll get this. I think 10 frames we need to take, so let's take a distance of 10 frames like this. Okay, and when hit U, and whenever they are gonna come at this point somewhere around over here, I need this animation should start to get animated. So let's select this and move this over here like this, and let's try to bring this over here. Okay, and hit U, and this portion should be gone. So hold Alt, close square bracket and trim up to this. So as you guys can see, we will get this smooth transition over here. And as you guys can see, this is not properly placed, so let's bring this over here. Yeah, this is properly placed now. And select this and this shape layer and let's try to bring this animation somewhere around at this point over here. Like it should start to get animated at this point. Okay, and let's select this area by holding Alt, close square bracket and trim up to this portion. Like this, and hold Alt, open square bracket to trim up to this. Okay, like that. So then at this point, which is coming over here, let's select this and this, hold Alt, close square bracket and trim up to this. Then select this and this, let's move this over here, hold Alt, open square bracket to trim up to this. So if you see this now, first we'll get this and this kind of transitions. Okay, and hit U and select all of them and enable the motion blur. Okay, this is happening now. Now all we need to do is to animate this alphabets like this, and let's see. Now let's move this over here, or simply go to the start, press P for position, create one keyframe, go to around 20 frame, create another keyframe, go to the start and select this and let's bring this at the bottom. Select this and let's bring this at the top. Select those keyframe and hit F9. Go to the graph, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here like this. Let's hit page down button one time. Then this S should start getting animated again 2 times. This B, open square bracket, move this over here again 2 times. Select this, move this over here again 2 times. Select this, move this over here again 2 times. This D should be starting, sorry, not this, but this D word should get start to animate it like this. And all of these animations of alphabet should get started at this point. And then go select this, press Ctrl Shift C. I'll call it as text animation and hit OK. Hold Alt, open square bracket to trim up to this, so we'll get this animation. Now let's select this rectangle and I'm going to create this kind of a mask on it like this, and this animation should get started at this point. Or if you want, you can bring this over here as well. Let's double click, select all of them and enable the motion blur. Okay, so along with this we will get that animation as well. Okay, now let's go to the main animation comp, press S. Initially let's make this 120, create one keyframe, and as this animation goes, and let's make this value 100. Select those and hit N over here at this point. Press Ctrl Y to create one solid background and bring this downwards like this. And let's bring this a little bit over here. Okay, then right click, new, and create one adjustment layer. You go to the effect and presets panel and search for tint effect, and you can swap these colors according to your needs. Then I'm going to click on this ellipse and by holding shift I am going to change the white color. Let's select this and press Ctrl Alt Home. Go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Press S and increase the size of this. Select this and press F4 and we are going to choose alpha mask. Okay, like that. Then when this animation is happening at this point, I'll select this, create one keyframe, go few frame forward and let's make this value 0. Select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here like this. Okay, and you can bring this point over here as well if you want. You can bring this portion up to this as well. Okay, so as you guys can see, this is how we can create this kind of logo reveal animation inside of After Effects.
So here we are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition and we are going to call it as main animation. Width I'm going to choose 1920 and height 180. Frame rate is 30. Duration is 1 minute long and background color is white color and simply hit OK. Then go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title section. Then I'm going to select my text tool and for the font you are free to choose any font you want. I'm going to choose outfit for now. And let's type our text. I'm going to type new text over here. Sorry. And let's change the color of this one to black. And let's increase the size of this text. And let's click on this all caps. And let's reduce the alphabetical distance between this text. Okay, so this is my text. I'm going to select this and I'll press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the Align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Okay, so this is the first text. And if you want, then you can make this a little bit bold. Okay, somewhere around like this as well. Okay, and then again, I'll go to the align tab, align it horizontally and align it vertically. Now select this text and press Ctrl Alt Home, and this going to be my reference text. So I'll select this and I'll hit Ctrl D, and I'm going to change the color of this last layer to the yellow one. Okay, and I'll drop this layer. Now this is the layer which we are going to animate. So first of all, let's change the color of this one to somewhere else. I'm going to choose something like this purple color and hit OK. Okay, and I don't need this other alphabet, so I'll delete those. Select this M, press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Again, go to the align tab and choose align horizontally, so it will automatically come at this point. Okay, now after that, I'm going to hit Ctrl D. Let's enable this icon so I can see only this layer, and with the help of your text tool, let's change this to E. Okay, then select this, go to the align tab, align horizontal, and press Ctrl Alt Home again. Now we will focus on this M and this E over here. So first let's focus on this M. Now select this M. Make sure whenever you're going to animate any particular layer, click on this icon, then only that layer is going to be visible. Then select your pen behind tool, zoom in a little bit, and let's by holding Control, I'm going to snap this anchor point at this portion. Now let's select this L, zoom in a little bit, press R for rotation, and initially I'll rotate it like that. Let's create one keyframe, zoom in a little bit, go to around 20 frames, and let's rotate it like that. Go to around 1 second, and let's make this value 0. Go few frame forward, let somewhere up to this. Let's see, rotate it like that again. Again, go few frame forward, hit Control C, Control V this keyframe. Now select those keyframe and hit F9. So if you check it out this animation, we are going to get something like that. Okay. Now let's go to the graph editor. Right click and make sure you are in edit speed graph. Let's select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. Let's move this handle over here. Now zoom in a little bit. Again select this and move this handle over here. Select this, move this handle at this point and this handle at this point. Let's move this handle at this point and let's move this handle at this point. Okay. So now if we check it out this animation, we will get something like that. Okay. This looks good to me. Now after this, okay. Now after this, if you see this, we got this animation. Now when this hem is gonna touch the ground, I want different text to get animated. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to enable this E and I'll hit Control D over here and let's disable all of this. And now I'm going to select my text layer and let's call it as O. Okay. Let's select this O and press Control Alt Home again. Go to the align tab, align it horizontally, align it vertically. Now let's disable this over here and let's hide this E and O for now. So we can focus on this one. Okay. Also, if you want, you can select this reference layer, press T for opacity, and let's bring this opacity 20 and let's lock this. So it would be easy for us. Now, when this M is starting over here, I'll press S and let's make this value initially 0 and create one keyframe. Hit U and go somewhere around at this point and let's make this scale 100. Okay, and select those scaling animation and hit F9. So we will get something like that. But it looks quite weird. So let's select this and by holding shift, let's adjust this graph like that. Okay. And if you want, then you can select this last scaling keyframe and you can move this over here. So it would be a better one. Okay. And when this is happening, I want this E should come out of this M. So let's select this E, press P for position, and let's try to bring this somewhere around over here. Create one keyframe, then press S to create another keyframe and press R for rotation to create another keyframe. Then hit U so you can see all of them. Then go somewhere around 1 second over here and let's try to bring this E totally at this point. Okay. Then scaling animation, create another keyframe for rotation. Let's make this one complete rotation. So now if you check it out this, we are getting something like that. And obviously scaled should be 0. Then select those keyframe and hit F9. go to the graph, select this, and by holding shift, move this handle over here like that. Okay. So we are gonna get something like this. And when this M is striking at the ground again, I want this O should appear on the screen. So let's enable this O, unhide this, and with the help of open square bracket, I'll move this over here. Now let's select this O, press P for position, create one keyframe, then press S for scaling option to create another keyframe. Hit U and let's go somewhere around 20 frames. Let's change the position of this O2 over here and create another keyframe and the scale as well. Then at the start, I'm going to bring this O somewhere over here and scale should be 0. Then select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph, select this graph and by holding shift move this handle over here. So if you check it out this, we are getting something like that. Then after that, somewhere around 2.20 frames over here, I'm going to move this O from here to here like that. Then somewhere around over here at 3.20 frames, I'm going to move this O from here to here like that. With the help of arrow keys as well, you can adjust it. So if you check it out this, we are gonna get something like that. But obviously this looks weird now. So what we can do first, we need to fix is this kind of a line. So to do that, select those position keyframes. I mean all of the position keyframes. Right click, go to the keyframe interpolation, and instead of auto bezier, choose linear and hit OK. Okay, so we will get something like that. Then we will select those position keyframes and we will go to the graph editor. As you guys can see, this graph is messed up. So what I'm gonna do, let's do one thing. Let's select the last graph and let's hit F9. So it will be gone because the first graph was correct. We want this kind of a smoothness. Then after that, I'm going to select this by holding shift, move this handle over here and then select this and move this handle at this point. Select this, move this handle at this point, and move this handle at this point. So we will get something like this. Okay, over here. Now, what I want that when this O is moving, it should push this M over here. So what I'm gonna do somewhere around at this point, hit reach down button and go one frame forward. I'm going to select this M and I'll press Ctrl Shift D to split this layer. And let's bring this at the top. Hit U and we are going to delete all those keyframes on rotation. Sorry. Let's bring this at the top and hit U and you can simply select those keyframes and delete them. Okay, for this M over here. And press V for selection tool and let's try to move this a little bit over here like that. You can press Ctrl Alt Home as well. Okay, make sure that it should touch the edge of this O. And then select this M and make it a parent at this O. So what will happen? It's gonna move with this O over here. Then somewhere around at this point, I'm going to select this M and I'll press Ctrl Shift D to split this layer. And this time I'm going to remove the parenting. Then press P for position to create one keyframe. Go somewhere around 4.10 and let's move this position to this area. Okay. Then select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph, select this graph. By holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. So what will happen? That we will get this kind of a animation. So if you check it out this, we got this and we got this. Okay. Now the only remaining one is this V. So what you can do, you can select any alphabet. For example, let's select this E as well. Hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. Bring this at the top. Hit U and let's remove all the position keyframes. Select this text tool and let's type V over there like that. Select this and press Ctrl Alt Home. And with the help of open square bracket, move this over here. Now I want this V should come from this M only. So let's bring this over here and let's bring this downwards. Then press P for position. Select this, right click and choose separate dimensions. Create one keyframe at X and one keyframe at Y. Go somewhere around at this point And let's try to bring this over here. You can type 540, so it will automatically come over here. Then change the X position somewhere around over here. Then in the middle, at this point, let's try to bring this totally over here at the top, like that. Then go few frame forward again, create one keyframe at Y, and in the middle, let's try to bring this one keyframe at the top. Then select those Y position keyframes and hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this by holding shift, move this handle at this point, and move this handle at this point. Select this, move this over here, select this and move this over here. Zoom in, again select this, move this over here and this over here, this over here, this over here, and move this over here. Okay, so if you check it out this, you are gonna get something like that. But obviously this animation looks very slow. So let's select this, and by holding Alt, I'm going to try to bring this over here. And this animation should happen when all of these two are being removed. So let's move this over here like that. Along with that, I need rotation as well. So I'll select this and I'll press R for rotation to create one keyframe. Hit U. Let's make this initial value 0. Then go somewhere around at this point and let's make this one complete rotation. So we will get this kind of a stuff. Okay. Along with that, if you want, then select this and or let's select your rectangle tool and create one rectangle over here, and you can increase the size of this rectangle as well a little bit and try to adjust it over here. And select this, hit enter, and let's call it as mask. Then select this V and press F4, and we are going to choose alpha mask. Okay, so we will get this mask for this one. Now let's delete this extra layer which was the as a reference layer we have used. Okay, then select all of these layers, press F4 and enable the motion blur. So now if you check it out this, we are gonna get this kind of a stuff. And if you want, you can select those layers and you can try to choose a different color for any one of them, just to give that stylized look for them. Okay, like that. Then I'm going to select all of this and I'll press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose, and I'm going to call it as animation. Hit OK. Then hit Ctrl D, press S, unlink this, and let's make this -100. Press C for position and let's try to bring this over here like that. Okay, this is going to be the reflection of this like that. Okay, then select this and press T for opacity, and let's make this opacity 30 or let's say 20. I'm going to select this, select your rectangle selection tool and create one simple mask. Go to the mask properties and increase the mask feathers. Okay, so now if you check it out this, we got something like that. Okay, like this. If you want, then you can move this a little bit towards here as well. Okay, like this. Okay, so yep, this is how you can create this kind of a simple text reveal animation inside of After Effects.
Okay, so here we are in Adobe Photoshop. Now I have this YouTube logo. You are free to choose any logo you want, but I would suggest to use this logo. And after doing this animation, you can try this kind of techniques to the other logo as well, like Google, etc, etc. But we have to make sure that those logos need to be in a alphabetical format. Okay, like that. So I have this YouTube logo, and now first thing first, that I need each and every alphabet properly on the separated layer. Okay, so let's try to do it. First thing first, I'm going to select this layer. I'll go to the select options and I'm going to choose color range. With the help of this picker, I'm going to pick up this black color, so it will select that black color only.
and fuzziness I'm going to choose 80, or let's choose 100, and simply hit OK. Then create a new layer, and I'm going to press Alt backspace to apply that color and hit Ctrl D to deselect it. And if I hide this logo layer, I'll get this U word over here. Then I need this tube word as well. So again, same procedure, go to the select color range with the help of this pickup, this white color, and simply hit OK. Then create a new layer and press Alt backspace to apply that color and hit Ctrl D to deselect it. So if you hide this layer and this white color background as well, as you guys can see, we are getting this kind of structure. Now I don't want any of this other stuff, so what I'm gonna do, I'm going to press L on my keyboard to select my lasso tool, and I'm going to select this tube word only like this. Let's hit Ctrl D to deselect. I'm going to select this portion and press Ctrl Shift I to invert selection and delete it, and hit Ctrl D. So if you see, now we have this U and tube, and now I need this red box as well. So for that, what we can do, I'm going to again select color range option and pick up this color and hit OK. Create a new layer and hold Alt backspace, so it will automatically apply that red color to it, and hit Ctrl D to deselect. And let's hide this, and we don't need this, so let's delete this. And now if you see, we are getting this kind of structure. Now again choose lasso tool, and we will select this much portion like this, and we will press select this layer and hold Alt backspace to apply and hit Ctrl D. So if we have this U, this tube, and this red box and this background, now double click on this red box and let's type box over there. Then we have this tube over here, so let's hide this. I'm going to select my lasso tool over here, and I'm going to select this T first. Hit Control X to cut it out. New layer, Control Shift V, double click, and let's call it as T, and let's hide this. Then we will select this U over here. Hit Control X, new layer, Control Shift V, double click, and let's call it as U and hide this. Then we have this B. Control X, new layer, Control Shift V, double click, and let's call it as B. Then we have this E as well, so let's call it as E. Okay. Then we have this Y. Let's select this. Hit Control X, new layer, Control Shift V, double click, and let's call it as Y and hide this. Then we have this O. Hit Control X, new layer, Control Shift V, double click, and let's call it as O, and let's call it as U. Okay, so we will get this kind of each and every alphabet properly on a separated layer, and let's save this file. Okay, so our logo file is ready. Now we will go to the After Effects and we will try to animate this. Now let's go to the After Effects, create a new composition, and I'm going to call it as main animation. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate is 30, and duration I'm going to choose 20-second long, and background color is white color, and simply hit OK. Choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title selection. Then I'm going to press Ctrl I to import my PSD file. I'll select this footage. I'm going to choose composition, return, layers and sizes, and simply hit import and hit OK. And simply double click to open this. I'm going to delete this background layer. I don't need that. Let's select all of this and hit Ctrl C to copy. I'll go to the main animation and I'll hit Ctrl V. Then I'm going to right click, new, and create one null object. I'm going to select all of them and I'm going to make it a parent with this null. I'll select this null. I'll press S for scaling option and I'll scale it till I'm going to adjust it at appropriate size. Let's make this 30 properly. Press P for position and let's try to bring this properly at the center. Okay, and let's select this and let's delete this. We don't need that anymore. Now I'm going to select all of these layers and I'll hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, and I'll press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose, and I'm going to call it as reference. Okay, so this layer is going to be our reference layer, and let's lock this layer and let's hide this layer as well. Or you can select this and instead of hiding this, press T. Let's enable this layer only, and let's decrease the opacity of this layer. Let's lock this layer as well. Okay, we are not going to hide that layer. Now let's hide this box, and I'm going to select this alphabets. Go to the effect and presets panel and search for fill. Double click to apply, and we are going to choose black color. Select this fill, hit Ctrl C, select this, hit Ctrl V, Ctrl V and Ctrl V. So now we have this black alphabets. Now let's save this file. Okay, now let's try to adjust this at the center properly. So we will select this Y and we will bring this over here. Then we will select this U, and or let's select this B and let's try to bring this at the top of this, and let us select this O and let's try to bring this over here. Okay, so we have this Y, B and O, and let's bring these layers on the top and let's enable these layers like that. So let's try to adjust it properly like this. Okay, over here. Now let's select this, press P for position. Select these positions by holding shift, right click and choose separate dimensions. So first is Y, then there should be this B, and then there should be this O. Select all of them, create one keyframe at Y position, zoom in, go to around 1 second, create another keyframe and go to the start, go to the align tab and choose align vertically, and let's try to bring this position over here. Okay, then we will get something like this. Okay, then select this keyframe and let's try to bring this up to 130, and in somewhere around over here I'm going to choose align tab again and choose align vertically, so it will automatically come over here and change the Y position to somewhere around over here like that. Okay, so if you see, we are getting something like this. Now select those keyframe and we will hit F9 to easy ease those keyframes. Go to the graph editor, right click and make sure that you are in edit speed graph. I'm going to select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. Select this, move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here. So if you see, we are getting something like this. Okay, but this Y is going to take a long time. So what we can do, I'm going to select this keyframes, or let's select this. If you see this animation, first we will get this and then this. Okay, along with that there should be some rotation animation as well. So let's select this, press R for rotation, create one keyframe, hit U, go to the last keyframe and let's make this one complete rotation. So let's make this 1. Okay, then press R only so I can see only rotation keyframe. Select those keyframe and hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here, and let's save this file. So if you see this now, we will get this kind of animation. Now I want to, there should be a gap between these animations, so I'm going to take a gap of 5 frames like this. So I'm gonna get this kind of structure. Okay, so if you see this, we will get something like this. Okay, now if you see, we will get this kind of structure. Now let's hide all of this. And now if you know that we have this box, so let's time to animate this box. So go to the align tab, align it horizontally, align it vertically, press S and let's decrease the scale of this like this. Now press P for position, select this, right click and choose separate dimensions. Now let's bring this Y position over here. Let's create one keyframe at Y position, go to around somewhere over 40 frames. And let's bring this somewhere around over here, then go few frame forward to somewhere around 1 second, go to the align tab, choose align horizontal vertically, and let's bring this over here. Along with that, press R for rotation, create one keyframe, hit U, go over here, and let's make this 2 complete rotations. So if you see, we will get something like this. Now let's select those Y position keyframes, and we will hit F9, go to the graph, select this graph, shift hold, move this handle over here. This one should be over here, this one like this, and this one like this. So it will look like a bounciness. Same procedure we will do for rotation keyframe as well. We will select this, shift hold, move this handle over here and this handle over here. So if you see, we will get something like this. I think the 2 rotation is much more, so let's make this 1 only. And then after this, it should go upward somewhere around. If you enable this alphabets, it should go over here. So let's select this and change the Y position to somewhere around over here, like this, and go to the graph, select this graph, and let's hit F9, shift hold, move this handle over here and move this handle over here like this. Okay, now let's select this like this. Now in search option, I'm going to type X, so it will show me the X position, and let's try to bring X position over here a little bit. So if you see this now, we will get something like this. Let's hide this alphabet just for now. If you see, we are getting this kind of stuff. Now when they are going to bounce, I'm going to select this alphabets. Let's enable this and let's try to bring them over here. Okay, like that. Okay, now I'm going to select this box and let's see if I see this animation. I'll get something like this. Now this box, what is gonna do is that this box will travel one path over here. So let's try to add that part. So I'm going to select this pen tool. From here to here, I'm going to draw this line. Let's delete this fill, we don't need that. And I'm going to choose something like black color only. So let's select this, then select this, then select this, and then select this. Okay, so let's try to adjust this path properly. Okay, and this is going to be the path, so we have to draw it properly like this, and this as well. Okay, select this, hit enter, and let's call it as path. Also inside that, if you go to the search option, if you type path over there, you will get this path keyframe, and simply hit keyframe and select this and hit Ctrl C to copy. After that, if you see this box, what I'm gonna do, whenever this box is gonna come over here, hit U, go to the last frame and press Ctrl Shift D to split this layer, hit U, and I'm going to delete this keyframes. I don't need that. Similarly, I'm going to select this and I'll press P for position. I'm going to select this X and Y position, right click, and I'm going to disable this separate dimensions. I don't need that. Then I'm going to create one keyframe, and if you remember that if you hit U, we have this path. I'll copy this path and I'll hit Ctrl C to copy. I'll select this position and I'll hit Ctrl V. So now what will happen, that this box is going to follow this path like that. Okay, so if you see, we will get something like this. Now there should be something over here later. So first this animation, and when this is at the proper rest, I want this animation should start somewhere around at this point. Okay, over here. So let's bring this animation up to this. Similarly, bring this line up to this. Okay, now select this keyframe and I'm going to hit F9 to ease those keyframes like this. Okay, so if you see, yeah, then go to the graph, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here, select this, and you can move this handle over here like this. Okay, or what you can do is that instead of that you can select this. By holding shift you can move one handle over here and you can move one handle over here, like that. So there is going to be ease a little bit. Okay, but if you see over here at this point we are getting this little bit of glitch. So for that, let's do one thing. We will hide this structure and I'm going to select this layer, which is this one. I'm gonna go in my effect and presets panel and I'll apply fill effect and I'm going to choose black color. Then at this point I'm going to select this, and with the help of arrow keys I'm going to just adjust along with that. Then I'll select this layer and I'm going to delete that fill. I don't need that. Okay, and I'll bring this, trim this up to this. Okay, so let's make this fit. So if you see this now, first we'll get this, then we will get this alphabetical animations like that. Okay, now if you see over here there should be a proper animation at this point. So along with this I need rotation animation as well. So for that I'm going to select this. I'll press R for rotation, or I can simply right click transform and I can choose auto orient and orient along the path and hit OK like this, and I'll rotate it a little bit like that to match. Okay, so if you see, let's make this quad resolution. Okay, and at this point if you see there should be some increment in size. So press S, create one keyframe. Similarly R for rotation, create another keyframe, hit U and go somewhere around over here. And if you select this other alphabets and S, the original size is 30. So let's select this box as well and let's make this value 30. Similarly the rotation should be proper, so you can select rotation tool and let's rotate it like this. Along with that, let's make this full resolution, and at the last frame try to adjust the position properly like this. So if you see, we will get something like this. Similarly select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph, select this graph, shift hold, move this handle over here and select this and move this handle over here. So we will get something like this, or you can simply hit F9 as well, or you can select this and you can move this over here like this. Okay, so if you make this fit now, we will get something like this. Okay, now when this Y is touching, when this box is gonna touch this portion, I want this 4 points should start to get animate again, and all the other alphabets should also start to get animate again. So let's select this portions, press P for position, again create one keyframe at X and one keyframe at Y for each. Similarly I'm going to select these alphabets which are remaining alphabets. With the help of open square bracket, move this over here and hit U, and now select all the alphabetical layers and hit U. Okay, similarly select this, let's try to adjust it over here. Press P for position, select those position by holding shift hold, right click and choose separate dimension X and Y. Similarly press R, create one keyframe and hit U. Okay, similarly I'm going to select this and create one keyframe at rotation as well. Okay, and select those keyframes like this and hit F9. Okay, then somewhere around at 4 to 15 frames, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to select this O, and this O should be over here like this. This U, this should be over here. This B should be over here like that. Okay, now rotation, I'm going to make this 2 rotation, 2 rotation and 2 rotation. So if you see, we are getting something like that. Okay, similarly all the other alphabets at this point, which are this U and this E. Okay, as well as the T. Go to the align tab. We are going to choose align horizontally and align vertically, and it should be over at the bottom like that. And then at this point they should be at their proper position. So what we can do, let's hit Ctrl Z. Before creating keyframe, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to select those alphabets by holding shift. I have already created one keyframe over here. I'll go to the end, and again I'm going to create keyframe for each and every one. And then I'll go to this start. I'll go to the align tab. I'll choose align horizontally, and then I'm going to choose align vertically, and then I'm going to bring this over here. Then in middle of that, if you see, we are getting something like this. Okay, let's hide this reference as well as this box now, so we can only focus on these alphabets. Okay, and in middle of that, where each and everyone is having this animation, you can go to the end property and you can add one complete rotation to this alphabets as well. Okay, so we are getting something like that. And in middle of that, I'll select each and every alphabet like this. Go to the make this fit, and go to the align tab and choose align vertically, or instead of that you can hit Ctrl Z, and you can try to bring the Y position of each and every one to somewhere around over here like this. Similarly, you can select this and try to adjust the Y position somewhere around over here. Okay, so we will get something like this bounciness. Okay, and let's make this fit. Now let's select all of these alphabet layers. Go to search option and type Y only. Let's select those Y position keyframes and hit F9. Go to the graph editor. Select this graph by holding shift. Move this handle over here. Select this, move this handle over here. Select this, move this handle over here. Select this and move this handle over here like this. Now along with that, this animation should be one by one. So what I'm gonna do, after this, except this Y, B and O, I'll hit page down button 2 times. Select this U, move this over here again 2 times. Select this, move this over here again 2 times, again 2 times. Okay, so I'll get something like this. Okay, and this animation is going to happen when this box is going to touch this portion like this. So if you see this now, you'll get first this animation, and then because this is touching this portion, we will get this animation. Now what we can do, I'm going to select this all the alphabets, and I'm going to press Ctrl Shift C, and I'm going to call it as text animation and hit OK. And go to the effect and presets panel and search for fill effect to apply, and we are going to choose black color for one, and hit Ctrl D to duplicate it and choose white color for another one, and select this box, which is this one. Hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, bring this at the top, select this white color layer and choose alpha mask. So if you see this now, first I'm gonna get this. Let's make this quad resolution. I'll get this, and then this. And then I'm going to select this box and this box. By holding Alt, open square bracket, I'll trim up to this. Like this, so. Okay. So now if I see this animation, I'll get this. And then I'm gonna get this. Okay, now after that there should be some bounciness or some ripple effect over there. So for that I'm going to select my ellipse tool, and I'm going to choose this color over here, and by holding shift I'm going to select this ellipse. I'm going to press Ctrl Alt Home, go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Go to the start. In search option, I'm going to type size, create one keyframe. Similarly, I'm going to type stroke and I'll create one keyframe and hit U. Initial size should be 0 and stroke should be 20. Then go to around 1 second. Let's increase the size and let's make this stroke width 0. Okay, select those keyframes and move this over here. Select this and hit F9. Go to the graph, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here. So you'll get something like this. So at this point, I need this animation should happen like this. Then again, when this is going to touch this Y, I'll hit Control D and I'll move this over here like this. So now only I'm going to select only text animation layers. So select this and this and press Control Shift C and I'm going to call it as text animation layers and press F4 and enable this icon. Simply go inside again, enable this icon and inside that select all of them and enable the motion blur. Okay, like this. And then I'm going to select this text animation layers and I'm going to select my rectangle tool and I'm going to create this kind of mask for this layers like this. So if I say this now, I'll get this and then I'm going to get this. Let's select this mask and let's move this up to this. Okay, and now I don't need this path layer as well. I don't need this reference as well. Only thing I need is this one and press Ctrl Y to create one solid background. And if I go to the 5 second and if I hit N, as you guys can see, our this logo animation is now ready. So this is how you can create this kind of logo reveal animation. So to create any kind of a logo, you need logo first. And now I have this Intel logo. I got it from Google. Okay, you are free to choose any logo you want, but because we are going to create a simple animation and the kind of technique that we are going to use today is easily applicable for this logo. But if you think that this technique is applicable for any other logo, you're free to do that. But guarantee we are going to choose this logo. So I have this Intel logo and I have opened this file in Photoshop. It's a simple JPEG file. Okay. Now, first thing first, we need to remove this background. So you can select your layer. You can go to the eraser tool and select this magic eraser tool. And all you need to do is simply click on this white background. Wherever you will feel that there is a white, simply select it and delete it. Okay. And yeah. Okay. Over here, you don't need to delete it because it's a very small object. Now, we are going to select your rectangle selection tool, which is over here. Shortcut key is M. Okay. Now I want each and every step should be on a different layer. So in After Effects, I can animate that easily. So let's select this cube over here and hit Control X to cut it out. Create a new layer and press Control Shift V to paste in place. Let's double click on this layer and let's call it as cube. Okay. Hit enter. And then we are going to hide this because then it will be easy to differentiate. Then I'm going to select this. I'll hit Ctrl X to cut it out. I'll create a new layer and I'll press Ctrl Shift V to paste in place and I'm going to call it as art. Okay, and let's hide this. Then I'm going to select this N over here, hit Ctrl X to cut it out, create a new layer and press Ctrl Shift V to paste in place. Double click on it and let's call it as N and hide this. Okay, let's hide this N. Select this T. Select this text layer. Hit Ctrl X on this T. Create a new layer and press Ctrl Shift V to paste in place. Double click on it and let's call it as T. Hide this. Then select this E. Hit Ctrl X. Create a new layer and press Ctrl Shift V to paste in place. Double click on it and let's call it as E and hide this. Then we have this L. Hit Control X, new layer, Control Shift V. Let's call it as L, and let's hide this. And we will, the last thing remaining is this R. Simply double click and type R over there. So now each and every stuff is on different layer. So this much portion is done. We will save this file as a Photoshop document. Now we will go to the After Effects. I'm going to create a new composition and I'm going to call it as May Logo Animation, and width I'm going to choose 1920, height 180, frame rate is 30, duration is 1 minute long, and background color is white color, and simply hit OK. Okay, so make sure that all these things are same over here and simply hit OK. Then we'll go to this option known as choose grid and guide option. Simply click on that. We will click on this title safe action, so we will get this kind of a camera like structure. Then over here, if you simply double click on this portion, After Effects will allow us to import your file. Select this logo PSD file, import as, right now it's footage. We need to choose composition, return layers and sizes. So it will allow us to animate all the layers which are inside that Photoshop document. Then simply hit import and hit OK. Then simply double click on it. Now over here, as you guys can see, the background is black because the composition color is black, but we don't need to animate this logo over here. I'm going to select all of this layers. I'll hit Control C, which is a shortcut key for copy. I'll go to the main animation and I'll hit Control V over there. So now all of them are over here, and let's select all of them. Simply hit Control A to select all of them and try to bring them at the center. With the help of arrow keys as well, you can adjust their alignment. Okay. Now each and every stuff is properly on the place. You can still try to adjust. Okay. Now I'm going to select this cube and I'll hit Control D to duplicate it. Go over here in this color options and change the color of this one to yellow. Now press P for position. Now let's select this position, right click and choose separate dimensions. So what will allow us that it will give us two separate keyframes for X position and Y position. Now I'm going to hide this cube over here, which is our extra cube. Now we need to animate the Y position of this first. So let's create one keyframe at Y position. Zoom in a little bit. I'm going to go somewhere around 20 frames and try to move this Y position somewhere around over here. Zoom in and it should touch the bottom of this eye. Okay, like that. Then let's create one keyframe at X. Then go somewhere around 2 seconds over here. Lump that. Let's try to bring this X position of this somewhere around over here. Let's create one keyframe at Y. Go to around 3 seconds and let's try to bring this totally upwards like that. Okay. Now let's select those keyframes and hit F9. So if you check it out this animation, if you make this fit, we are gonna get this kind of a animation over there. Okay. But as you guys can see, this animation looks a little bit slow. So by holding Alt, I'm going to select those keyframes, all the keyframes, and hold Alt on your keyboard and try to bring this keyframes up to 2 seconds. Okay. So if you check it out this, you are gonna get something like that. Okay. But if you want this animation to be a slow, you can bring this up to 3 as well as to 4 seconds as well. Okay, it's totally up to you how long you want your animation needs to be gone. Okay, but because we want this animation to be a smoother, I'll bring this up to, let's select the hold Alt and I'm going to bring this up to 3.15 frames. Now, after doing all of that, I'm going to, at the start, if you see there is no keyframe at X, so let's simply create one keyframe at X. Similarly, at the end, there is no keyframe over here, so let's create another keyframe. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select those and right click keyframe assistance and choose time reverse keyframes. So now these keyframes are reversed. So now it will come from here to here and then it will go over here. Okay. Now after doing that, I'm going to select this cube. I'll right click and I'll go to the option called pre-compose, hit OK, and let's call it as cube animation and hit OK. Okay, so if you check it out this, we've got this kind of a animation. Now I want there should be a one line that should follow this. So I'm gonna go in my effect and presets panel and I will search for echo effect and double click to apply. Let's go to the echo operator. Instead of add, let's choose maximum and echo time over here. If you see this value, we have 0.0333, out of which this 3 we don't need. So simply delete it and type 0 over there. Okay, so we need this value over here. And the number of echoes, I'm going to choose 30 or even more than that you can add. Okay, and let's make this quad resolution. So if you check it out this animation now, we got something like that. Okay, you can choose minimum as well, then you are not gonna get that extra layer kind of a stuff. If you check it out this in full resolution, you are gonna get this kind of a animation over there. Okay, but if you check it out this over here, we are getting this kind of a glitch. So to get rid of it, I'm going to select this. I'll go to the effect and presets panel and I'm going to search for fill effect and double click to apply. Then, as you guys know that we have already created a duplicate of this. I'll select this cube. In the fill, we have this picker. I'm going to pick up this color and I'll pick this color. And then I'm going to hide this cube again. And let's make this quarter resolution again. So if you check it out this, we are gonna get this kind of a animation over there. Okay, like that. Okay, and if you want, if you increase the number of echoes to 300, obviously the tail over here is gonna be a little bit bigger. Okay, so it would be easy for us to animate. Okay, like that. Then somewhere around at this point over here, somewhere around at this point, let's make this value to 180 only, not too much. And then somewhere around at this point, I'm going to select all of this, and with the help of open square bracket, I'm going to move this over here. Press P for position to create one keyframe. Then press T for opacity to create another keyframe. Hit U, go somewhere around 3 seconds or 3.15 frames, and you can click on this icon, so it will enable this layers only. Again, create one keyframe at position and one keyframe at opacity. Then go to the start over here and let's bring down the position downwards like this. Then let's make this value 0 of opacity. Then select those position and opacity keyframes and hit F9. Go to the graph, select this graph, and by holding shift, this handle over here, and let's choose this graph editor and let's minimize it. Okay, I want this animation to be one by one, so take a gap of 5 frames. First add 2, go to the file, select this end and move this over here with the help of open square bracket. Take a gap of 5 frames, move this over here. I'm pressing open square bracket to shift this layers like that. Okay, so if you check it out this, we are gonna get this kind of a stuff. Now let's disable this option, and now if you check it out this animation over here, we are gonna get something like that. Okay, over here. Now there is one thing you can do over here. Let's select this eye, hit U. Let's go to the end of the keyframe and I'm going to delete this keyframe. Okay, because we don't need animation for that. I want when this cube is going to cover this eye should get revealed. So at this point, this eye is covered by this cube animation. So I'll stick this and with the help of open square bracket, I'll simply move this over. So now when you're gonna look at it, it will look like that all the alphabets are appearing by themselves, but this eye is appeared because this cube has covered that. Okay, like that. So if you check it out this, we are gonna dip this cover first with logo relief. Now after this, let's delete this extra cube. We don't need that. I'm going to select all of this. I'll press Ctrl Shift C to decompose, and I'm going to call it as logo animation and hit OK. Then initial, I'll press S. Let's make this scale 110 and create one keyframe. Somewhere around 5 to 6 seconds, I'm going to make this value 95 and hit N over them. So if I check it out this animation now, along with this, I'm gonna get that scaling anima. Okay. Then somewhere around at this point, I'm gonna go in effect and presets panel and I'll search for the mix, light sweep effect and double click to apply. And let's bring this point to somewhere around over here. And let's create one keyframe at center, hit U. and go somewhere around 5 seconds, and I'm going to move this value from here to here. Okay, like that. So if you check it out, this animation now, we got this, and then we will get this light strike over there. And then at last, press Ctrl Y to create one solid background and bring the star words like that. And then go to the effect and presets panel and search for effect called CC Vignette and double click to apply. And let's choose the amount to 50. Okay, so with the help of that, you're not going to get a complete white background, but you get a little bit grayish color over there. And if you check it out, this in full resolution, one thing that is going to happen, because we have applied echo effect, it will take time to load this entire animation. Then you can choose quad resolution, so it will take a less time to load. And then after that, you can simply export this animation. So yeah, this is how you can create this kind of a simple logo reveal animation inside of After Effects.
So here we are in Adobe Photoshop. Now I have one file of this Coke can. Similarly, I have one file for this logo, and I got some taglines which are related to this Coke brand, which is Real Magic and Taste the Feeling, and we are going to use these taglines in our animation. So first thing first, we need to create this text, and so let's try to do it. Let's go to the Adobe After Effects and let's create a new composition. I'm going to call it as main animation like I always do. And width I'm going to choose 1920, height 180, frame rate I'm going to select this 59.94. So our animation is going to be the smoother one, and I'm going to select this 30 seconds duration, and background color is white, and simply hit OK. Then we'll go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on titles action. Then press Ctrl Y to create one solid background, and let's bring this over here and let's lock this. Now I'm going to press Ctrl I to import my Photoshop file. So I'll select this PSD, choose footage, composition, return layer sizes, and simply hit import and hit OK. Then double click, select this logo, footage, composition, return layer sizes, and simply hit import and hit OK. Okay, so now I have this files over here. Now press Ctrl N to create another composition, and let's call it as logo file. Okay, inside that, spread Ctrl Y. This is going to be my solid background layer, and let's double click and open this logo PSD file. I'm going to select this logo. I'll hit Ctrl C. I'll go to the logo file and I'll hit Ctrl V. And now let's try to bring this properly at the center. Press S and try to adjust it like that. Go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Go to the main animation and bring our logo file over here like this. Then go to the effect and presets panel and search for CC sphere effect and double click to apply. So we will get this kind of sphere. Now go to the shading options and we are going to increase this ambient value to 80 and diffuse value to somewhere around like this. Okay, so we are gonna get this kind of structure like that. Now we will try to animate this later, but currently let's decrease the radius of this to somewhere around like, let's say 120 only. Okay, after that I have this text Real Magic. I'm going to hit Ctrl C to copy. Then I'm going to select my text tool and I'm going to press Ctrl V to paste it, and I'm going to choose currently black color, and let's try to adjust this text like that. Hit Ctrl A and let's bring this downwards. For the font I'm going to choose Oswald font, but you can choose any font you want, and I'm going to choose all caps. Let's bring this downwards and let's decrease the distance between these alphabet to somewhere around like this over here, and select this real word, and I'm going to increase the size of this text. Okay, like that. Now let's select this and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Press S and let's increase the size of this. Okay, now let's select this and hit Ctrl D. Select this second layer. Let's increase the size of this text as well. Go to the character. Let's delete this fill and choose black color for the stroke, and stroke width choose 0.1 or let's say 0.3 or something, or even 0.1 would be nicer. I'm going to go with the 0.3.
And let's hide this for now. Select these two layers and press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose, and let's call it as text animation. Okay, and double click to open this. So we are gonna get something like this. Simply right click new and create one adjustment layer. Go to the effect and presets panel and search for transform effect and double click to apply. Then I'm going to choose Q value to somewhere around like this, so I'll get this kind of structure. Now if you want, then you can select this font and you can choose different font as well, like whichever suits your thinking. For example, this or even this looks good. Okay, so I'm going to go with this one. It's totally up to you. And I'm going to choose semi bold or even black, or you can choose this fox bold as well, and you can adjust the distance like this and distance like this. Okay, and you can select this, press S and adjust the scale of this. Okay, and you can select this, Control C to copy the font, select this, Control V to paste it like that, and make sure okay, this looks good to me. Now after that we need to animate this text, so let's select this, go to the animate and choose position, and let's bring this position downwards somewhere around like this. Go to the trend selector, create one keyframe at start, go to around 1.30 and let's make this value 100. Then go to the start, add property, and we are going to choose opacity. Then along with that, go to the add property and choose tracking, and let's decrease this tracking value somewhere around like this, and opacity 0. So we will get something like this. Then select this keyframes and hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move one handle over here, and we will move one handle over here. Okay, so if you see this now, we will get something like this. Then go to the start, select this animator one, hit Ctrl C to copy, minimize this, select this layer and hit Ctrl V. So we are gonna get this kind of animation. Okay, so let's go to the main animation over here. Let's enable this logo file, bring this at the top. I'm going to select this text animation layer, go to the effect and presets panel and search for fill effect and double click to apply, and go to the fill, select this color and pick up this color over here. Okay, like that. So then I'm going to select this logo file, and if you want, then you can increase this ball size as well. Okay, and let's go to the rotation properties as well, and we need to rotate it on x-axis over here. So first thing first, let's bring this. We will create one keyframe at x and one keyframe at y. So hit U. Similarly, we are going to create one keyframe at this offset as well. Okay, and hit U. So let's go to the start and let's bring this keyframes over here like this, and let's hide this text animation just for now, and select this logo file and hit U. And initially let's bring this offset downwards, go to around 1 second and let's make this value 0, or even bring this downwards like that. Then go somewhere around over here and try to bring this somewhere over here like this. Okay, so if you see this now, we will get this kind of structure over here. Similarly, along with this, there should be some rotation animation for this ball. So let's make this one complete rotation, and over here 2 complete rotation. So if you see this now, we are getting this kind of stuff, but because there is rotation on this y-axis, we don't need that. So let's make this 0. So we will get something like this. Okay, and if you want, then you can rotate it on z-axis like this to 90 degree. So if you see this now, we will get something like this. Okay, so it's up to you. I can rotate it like this as well. Okay, so it's up to you. I'm going to stick with something like this. Okay, and let's select this Y offset and we will hit F9. Go to the graph editor. Let's select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here like this. Select this, move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here. So we will get this kind of ball animation. And if you see over here, there is some weird stuff. So to get rid of it, simply select those keyframe, right click, go to the keyframe interpolation, and instead of auto bezier, choose linear and hit OK. So now there is going to be a proper animation. Now the rotation animation should be proper as well. So simply select this and hit F9. Go to the graph, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. So if you see this now, we will get something like this. Now I'm going to select this and by holding alt, I'm going to bring this up to 130 frames. So we will get something like this animation. Okay, let's hide this and bring our main animation comp. First we will get this. Then I want this logo animation should start somewhere around at this point over here like that. So first I'll get this animation and then this. Now let's go inside this text animation. I'm going to select this backward text and I'll make it apparent with this second one. Select this, go to the start, create one keyframe, and as it goes further somewhere around at 3 seconds, I'm going to reduce the size of it. So now if I see this animation over here, along with this, I'm gonna get this kind of animation as over here, like that. So now let's select this ball, go to the effect and presets panel and search for drop shadow effect and double click to apply. And let's make this softness to 300 and distance to 100 as well. Okay, so if you see this now, we will get something like this. And instead of black color, I'm going to pick up this red color over here and hit OK. And if you want, you can choose a little bit darker version of this color as well. So if you see this now, we will get something like this. Okay, and if you know that we have this white color solid, instead of white color solid, if you want, press Ctrl Shift Y to select the solid settings, and with the help of this I can pick up this color over here as well. Okay, and if you want, you can go over here and search for CC vintage effect and double click to apply. So you will get this kind of blackiness as well, but I don't think that's needed, so I'll delete that. Okay, so first thing first, we will get this and then we will get this. Now when this ball is going to touch this ground over here at this point, let's hit U. At this point I am going to press Ctrl Y to create another solid settings, and I'm going to pick up this color and hit OK. And let's, with the help of open square bracket, I'm going to move this over here. So I'll get this kind of structure. Now I'm going to hit Ctrl I and I'm going to bring my can image, and I'm going to simply footage composition return layer sizes and simply hit OK. Oops, I think I have already imported this, so I don't need to import it again. I'm going to select this Coke can, I'll hit Ctrl C, I'll go to the main animation and I'll hit Ctrl V. Now the size is too much, so simply press S and reduce the size like that, and try to bring this over here like this. Okay, hit W and let's rotate it like this. Let's try to bring this a little bit over here. Initially it should be over here like this. Now press P for position, create one keyframe, then press S, create another keyframe and hit U. Go few frame forward and let's go to the align tab, align it horizontally, align it vertically, and let's increase the size of this can like this. Select those keyframe and hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph by holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. So we will get something like this. Okay, so first we will get this and then we will get this. Now this image looks blank to me, so what we can do over here is that Let's go over here. Let's decrease the scale a little bit and try to bring this over here. Let's bring this up to 10 maybe, like this. Okay, so we'll get something like this. Now there should be some background text. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to select this text animation, hit Ctrl D, and let's try to bring this composition over here, and I'm going to bring this comp over here like this, and let's bring this after this text, this scan. Now let's select this, go to the effect and presets and search for fill effect and double click to apply, and we are going to choose white color. Now let's go inside this. Now over here we need to change this text. I'm going to type taste the feeling. So let's select this. For over here I'm going to copy this text only. So simply hit Ctrl V, and the feelings I'm going to type after this. So select this magic and hit Ctrl V and select let's select this text and press S for scaling option initially. Let's make this quad resolution so we can see this properly, and select this text and let's bring this somewhere around like this over here, like that. So okay, let's select this and try to adjust it over here. Let's delete this real magic text and try to let's delete the scaling keyframe as well, because we are writing this text totally in a different way, like this. Select this text layer, hit Ctrl D to duplicate. Select this, press S, and let's increase the size of this text. Go to the character menu, let's select this and let's delete this stroke, and I'm going to choose 0.3. okay, and let's make this full resolution and let's make this animation like this. So if you see this in quad resolution, we will get something like this, and this animation should start somewhere around at this point. So I'll bring this over here like this, and along with that I'm going, if you want, let's make this full resolution. Select this layer, hit Ctrl D to duplicate, or you can select this scan over here and you can increase the size little bit according to your needs, like this. Then select this text animation, right click, reveal layer in source project. So we have this text over here. Let's select this text and hit Ctrl D, and let's bring this at the top and select this, and by holding Alt I'm going to replace it. Let's go inside this, select this background layer, delete it, select this layer and let's delete this fill, and let's add the stroke of black color and stroke width choose 0.2. So what will happen is that we will get something like this. Okay, let's hit Ctrl Z. I think I did one mistake over there. We have to select this layer, and we need to Ctrl D O from here as well, and then by holding Alt we need to replace it. So we will get this text animation 3, and now we can double click to open this, and then I can delete this layer, select this, delete this fill and add stroke and choose 0.3. So what will happen, that we will get one extra text stroke layer over here. So you can choose this to 0.5 as well. So basic thing is that the text should be readable. If you want, you can make this 2 as well, like this. Okay, but if you don't want that, then that is also okay. You can skip this portion as well, because this looks good over here as well. Okay, and you can select this, you can go to the effect and presets panel, or you can search for drop shadow effect and double click to apply and increase the distance to 50, softness to 200, like that, or distance to 200 as well, and softness to 500 or something, and opacity to 30, or you can choose this color. Okay, and let's make this to 80 or something, softness to 900. Okay, so we will get this kind of animation. And now if you see this animation from the start, first we will get this, and then we will get this, and then you can go inside this, select this, make it apparent with this second text, go to the start, press S, create one keyframe, go to the 4 second, and let's decrease the size of this text. Okay, and hit N. So now if you see this animation, first we will get this, and then we will get this. So with the help of this kind of techniques, we can create this kind of easy motion graphic animations inside of After Effects with the help of Photoshop and After Effects.